What do you see on your screen? Can you identify
7-2.
the 7 tombs?
Station the food.
Okay. We are all local students, now, so you know the 7 tombs. Now, where are these 7 tombs located? Yes,
In the
near the Golconda Fort. Actually, these are the tombs of uh, the Qutub Shahi rulers. Now, our poem today is about these 7 tombs written by Sarojini Naidu. You know, Sarojini Naidu was born and brought up in Hyderabad, so she was very fond of this city, and she was very much impressed by the culture and the the beauty of our city, and that's why she has written uh, so much about it. And she tries to capture the grandeur and the beauty of our city and its surroundings in most of her poems. She takes uh, she takes up very different angles to show us a beautiful picture of the city we live in. Sometimes, it happens that we ourselves fail to see the beauty or the royalty, the grandeur of some of the things because we take too many things for granted, and therefore we hardly realize that these things are really so beautiful, these things are really so grand and so magnificent. Sarojini Naidu tries to point out. Now, here in the picture on your screens, you can see the 7 tombs. These are the final resting places of the Qutub Shahi rulers, situated around 2 kilometers away from the Golconda Fort. Now, it is in this setting that Sarojini Naidu has written a poem, bringing our attention to the beauty and the grandeur, even in a graveyard like this. This is literally a graveyard, isn't it? Though doesn't look like one, but after all, if all these tombs are the final resting places, then we can call it a graveyard in the general terms. But it doesn't look like a graveyard. There is something magnificent. There is something great about it. Yes, a prophet is never prophet. Prophet. The spelling of prophet is wrong, beta. Your proverb is right, but the spelling of prophet should be prophet. Prophet, है वो, not profit. Huh, very true. So even if you look at this picture, you don't feel that this is a graveyard, or it doesn't look like a graveyard to you. You know, the tombs and the space that it occupies, etc., etc. So this is where Sarojini Naidu also stands, and she expresses her feelings. She tries to paint a very detailed picture of capturing practically every possible detail that you see in this picture. See, this is a visual picture. There are so many things that you see here. Sarojini Naidu tries to capture every detail that you find here into her verbal picture. She is a poet, so she is trying to create a verbal picture before us. And you see how beautifully she does it. I'm going to the poem on page 62 of your textbooks, The Royal Tombs of Golconda. And of course, a little more about Sarojini Naidu, born and brought up in Hyderabad, one of the most illustrious daughters of India. A child prodigy. What is prodigy? An exceptionally gifted child. Uh, a child who behaves wiser than to behaves wiser than his or her age is a child prodigy. Sarojini Naidu started writing poetry early. She wrote several poems primarily to promote the glory of Indian culture and history worldwide. A committed humanist and social activist, she played a prominent role in India's struggle for freedom. Her spirited speeches and poems impressed Gandhiji so much that he called her the Nightingale of India. This was a title given to her. The philanthropist in Sarojini Naidu ensured that their home, Golden Threshold, in the heart of Hyderabad was handed over to the government for some public use. Now, the philanthropist. What is philanthropist? Philanthropy. Or who is a philanthropist? Yes. Who is a philanthropist or what is meant by philanthropy? Philanthropy means the act of giving charity. बहुत ज्यादा खैर खैरात करना है पैसों से लोगों की मदद करना इस फिलैंथ्रोफी पैसों से या अपने माल या अपने किसी और चीज से लोगों की मदद करना इस फिलैंथ्रोफी okay so she was a she was not only a great poetess but also a philanthropist and that is why she you know gifted her home the Golden Threshold. You know where this is situated? Any idea? Yes. Any idea where the Golden Threshold is situated? Kazim sir, allow them to unmute for some time. Now, boys, wake up.
No, ma'am.
No idea. It is situated in the heart of the city at Abbott's Station Road. You know, the road that goes from GPO towards Nampalli Station. From the GPO, uh, the road that goes to this Nampalli Station, uh, you find this building located there. You know, yeah, what do you call it? Metro footwear. Then, as you proceed further, there is Chandana Brothers. Then there is then you find this building. So, such a prime property was just gifted to the government for some public use. She was the first woman president of the Indian National Congress and also the first woman to be the governor of a state in independent India. She was the governor of UP in the beginning of her career. Her collection of poems include The Golden Threshold, The Bird of Time, Songs of Life, The Broken Wing, Death and Spring, The Scepter Flute, Songs of India, and The Feather of the Dawn. Now, I'll go to the poem straight away.
हम फेदर ऑफ डैन मतलब डैन तो फदर के टाइप को बोलते हैं फेदर ऑफ डैन मींस
Feather of the Dawn. Dawn means early morning, the daybreak. That's the title given to her collection of poems. Now, I'm beginning the poem. Join me on page number 62. I muse among these silent fanes, whose spacious darkness guards your dust. Around me sleep the hoary plains that hold your ancient wars in trust. Now, Sarojini Naidu is the speaker here. So the I in the poem refers to Sarojini Naidu. And who is she addressing here? She is addressing all the ancient kings of the Qutub Shahi dynasty. In her imagination, she's talking to all of them. So she says, when I stand here, let us imagine that she's standing here somewhere in this area, and she says, standing here, I muse. What is musing? I wonder, I marvel at all these buildings, these monuments. Looking at these monuments, I think, I begin to wonder, I begin to marvel. Okay, what could these be? These buildings look so magnificent, so calm and peaceful that they more or less look like places of worship, she says. I muse among these silent fanes. Fane means a place of worship. कोई ऐसी जगह जहाँ इबादत की जाती हो. So she uses the word silent and fane because, see, this is a graveyard, so there is not much activity there. Therefore, it is silent. Yet, in this silence, there is no fear, there is no element of, scare, or there is no element of fear. There is instead of fear, there is a prevailing sense of purity and calmness. So much so that the poet begins to think, okay, are these places of worship? So this is the feeling that she gets. Are you able to get my point, all of you? See, Sarojini Naidu's poetry needs a little bit of imagination to understand. So are you able to get it? Because I told you in the beginning, she is trying to create a verbal picture. So she uses a lot of words, very suggestive words, which I'll try to explain as much as I can. And you also have to keep your mind's window open to be able to understand. So I muse among these silent fanes, whose spacious darkness guards your dust. So standing in the middle of these, tombs, Sarojini Naidu says, there is absolute silence here. But that silence does not invoke a sense of fear in you. It does not create a sense of fear. ये खामोशी से खौफ नहीं आता है. Instead, she says, it gives you a sense of peace and calmness, because this is so vast, expansive, so spacious, dark, but at the same time very peaceful. So she says every tomb is so big, whose spacious darkness, every tomb holds the final remains of one king. So she says, in all these tombs, there is lot of space. So there is no sense of suffocation. Though there is darkness, but still, this darkness, this silence does not instill a sense of fear in you.
मैं
It,
स्पेसियस बोल रहा हूँ.
spacious darkness means, see, darkness can be anywhere. There is कुछ darkness ऐसे होते हैं जो बहुत कम बहुत छोटी और कॉम्पैक्ट जगह में अगर हो Suppose you are locked in a room which is very small and totally dark. You feel suffocated. You feel as if you have been, buried somewhere. Heckening. But at the same time, suppose there is a big space and you are there, and there is darkness there also, then at least you don't fear that. I mean, you don't have that kind of fear. So Sarojini Naidu tries to tell us that these tombs are so peaceful. Yeah, halanki these are the resting places. These were the grave. These are the graveyards. These are the graves of the kings. यहाँ पर ये किंग्स के रेस्टिंग प्लेसेस है, ये उनकी खबरें हैं. लेकिन फिर भी यहाँ पर कोई कब्रिस्तान जैसी कोई वहशत या कब्रिस्तान जैसा कोई खौफजदा जो एनवायरनमेंट होता है, दैट इज नॉट देयर. सो दैट इज व्हाई शी सेज, यहाँ खड़े होकर तो ऐसे सुकून लगता है जैसे ऑल दीज मॉन्यूमेंट्स, each individual monument is a place of worship. They are very spacious. No doubt they are dark, but and they hold or they contain your dust. Your dust means the final remains of your bodies. इसमें से हर एक टूम में एक एक किंग के जो है फाइनल रिमेन्स हैं वो दफन है. लेकिन फिर भी शी सेज, इसको देखकर भी आप लोगों के ग्रैंडियर का अंदाजा होता है कि as long as you were alive, you led a very grand life, and even in death, you did not forget to give an impression of the same grandeur. Are you getting my point? Everyone, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next. Around me sleep the hoary plains that hold your ancient wars in trust. And then she says, when I look around, now look at the back side of this picture, we find some open spaces. Now the landscape at the back side of the picture. She says, around me. Now when she looks around, she says, I can find those plain lands where sometime in the past, some of the most memorable wars must have been fought. Around me sleep the hoary plains that hold your ancient wars in trust. That means these were the places where some of the most memorable wars must have been fought. Then I she continues, stanza 2. I pause. My dreaming spirit hears across the wind's unquiet tides the glimmering music of your spears, the laughter of your royal brides. Then she says, suddenly I stop because my spirit, which was till now dreaming, suddenly seems to hear something. I can hear something. Now see, now she is totally transformed, transcended into a new world. Therefore, she says, I can hear across the wind's unquiet tides. That means these gentle blows of winds are carrying some messages, some noises. Huh, I can hear. I can hear the glimmering music of your spears. She says, look, I can even hear the music of the wars. Now, this is a very strange combination, isn't it? How can you combine music with war or glimmering music? The music of war is nothing but the sound of the swords clashing, striking against each other. So she says, मुझे तो वो सुनाई भी दे रहा है. And she uses the combination, the glimmering music of your spears. What kind of a combination is this? Glimmering music. How can music be glimmering? And what is glimmering, first of all? What is glimmering? Shining. Glimmering means shining. Now, glimmering music. Now, this actually comes from a situation where the warriors, in a, you know, uh, when the warriors use metallic swords. In olden days, the wars were fought face to face with metallic arms and ammunition. So all the arms, whether they were swords or various daggers or various things, they were all made of metals. And because the wars were fought during the daytime, so she says these all these arms, which were metallic, would reflect the sunlight and thereby make the war field even more brighter. So that's one way of looking at a war field. This is what is called, the free imagination of a writer. You and I would look at war field from a different angle. We may say a war field is a very horrific place where there is death and only death, where there is bloodshed, death, cries, pain, and anguish. But a poet looks at a war field from a different angle. She says, I can see music there, the music or the sound of the swords clanging against each other. And I find the war field to be even more brighter because of the shine, the reflection of all the reflection of the sunlight through the metallic arms that are used. So she says, I can hear all that, I can see all that suddenly through my mind's eye. And I can also hear the laughter of your royal brides. Not only can I see a war happening in my imagination, I can even hear the lavish and the extravagant life of a palace, the laughter, song, and dance and music of your royal brides. In vain, O king, doth time aspire to make your names oblivion sport. So she says, my dear kings, time is trying its best to eliminate your names from the minds and the memories of people, but it will not succeed, she says. In vain. That means time is trying without any success. It's trying to eliminate or make your names a thing of the past, but that will not happen. While yonder hill wears like a tire the ruined grandeur of your fort. He says, time cannot eliminate your memories from the minds of people as long as that hill. Now from the Golconda tombs, she now points out to this hill where the Golconda fort is situated. So she says, as long as that hill stands there with the ruins of the fort, even though she says the fort, which was once a very magnificent and very big fort, thought to be unconquerable, today we only find the ruins there. But she says, even these ruins are enough to remind people of your greatness. And जब तक ये सब कुछ है, ये खंडरात ही सही, जब तक ये हैं, as long as these ruins are there on that hill, nobody will forget you. Nobody can eliminate your memories from the minds of people. Though centuries falter and decline, your proven strongholds shall remain, embodied memories of your line, incarnate legends of your reign. So she says, centuries may come and centuries may go. May falter and decline means they may come and go. But your strongholds, that means all those great monuments that you have created, they will continue to remind the people of your greatness. These monuments are as great as you were great. So literally these monuments are a personification of your greatness. इन monuments में वही बड़ाई, वही you know जाहो जलाल नजर आता है जो आप में हुआ करता था. So she says these monuments are literally a personification of all the greatness that you had. And so as long as these monuments are there, people can never forget the Qutub Shahi rulers. O queens, in vain old fate decreed your flower-like bodies to the tomb. Death is in truth the vital seed of your imperishable bloom. Now she turns her attention towards the queens and she says, Oh, my dear queens, actually, you should not have died. Death should not have been destined for you. Why? And she gives the answer. She says, You were born in palaces. You lived such a pampered life, such a luxurious life, having all the comforts that one can imagine. And after all this, you should not have been, you know, forced to go for your final resting place into a grave. Death should not have come to you. But then she says, she suddenly realizes her mistake. And she says, but why should we look at death from that angle? Okay, it is the end of life. There is another way of looking at death. And Sarojini Naidu says, we can even look at death as a beginning, as a doorstep to another life, to the next life, to the life hereafter. And so she says, death is in truth the vital seed of your imperishable bloom. So she corrects herself and she says, oh, yes, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. This is also possible that death has made you more unforgettable. It has made you more rememberable, more dearer. Each newborn year, the bulbuls sing their songs of your nascent love. Your beauty wakens with the spring to kindle these pomegranate grooves. So she ends the poem with the last stanza, once again describing the beauty of Ibrahim Bagh, the garden around these 7 tombs. And she says, in every spring season, see, this kind of a beautiful garden, we call it Ibrahim Bagh, is there around all these tombs. So she says every year, when the spring season comes, the trees in this beautiful garden begin to blossom once again. And when they blossom, it looks as though they are singing the glorious songs of your love. And they have awakened to the beauty of your souls. Their songs, each newborn year, the bulbuls sing their song of your. That means every year the bulbuls keep repeating the same legendary songs of all the legendary love stories that you people lived. and left behind. Your beauty wakens with the spring to kindle these pomegranate groves. And she says, it also looks as if, these queens have once again become alive. And now, of course, in another form, in the form of beautiful flowers, fruits, and beautiful trees. And therefore, gives me a sense that beauty and grandeur never perishes. So, with this, she ends the poem. Uh, Children, tell me, I find I am almost 90% confident that all those who have logged in have just logged in and are asleep, because I don't hear anybody. I don't see any
Live?
comments from anyone.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So, do you
No,
want me to change the timings of the class?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Early morning class in winters is not a very comfortable idea. So,
I
discuss
have
with
some doubt.
discuss with your in charge Kazim sir, and let me know if you want me to change your timings. But I need to get your class all together, like J 41, 40, 41, and junior Ames boys.
I
Very
have,
few,
ma'am.
very
Ma'am,
few.
I have some doubts, ma'am.
Yes, better. What is your doubt?
Ma'am, what is the meaning of tide?
Tide. Tide is actually a wave. It can be in
Leher.
the wind, it can be in waters. तो मौज जो होती है ना पानी में, उसको टाइड कहते हैं.
Ma'am, oblivions means?
जी बेटा.
Oblivions
Oblivion's sport. Oblivion means something of the past. एक गुजरी हुई चीज, something like that.
and grandeur.
Grandeur is greatness, magnificence, etc. Now, one more thing, boys. Except JL 40, the other two sections, 41 and junior Ames boys, are going to write the midterm exam, even in languages. So, inshallah, by tomorrow, I'll try to post the portion, uh, the test portion in your group. So, please don't miss any of my classes. And I may not be left with time to repeat the topics once again, because we are already into December, and I don't think we'll have that much of time to repeat everything all over again. So, if you want, I may think of changing the timings of your class, but don't miss the class, because I find only 55 participants today. Jabke I was expecting around 100 plus. Considering that there are at least 40 students in each section, three sections put together should have been around 120. So please be regular. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See you all inshallah next Thursday. Allah Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.